Contracts, scarier than a rapper's first haircut. Yo, musicians, let's talk contracts. Scarier than stage fright? Maybe. More confusing than a DJ's mixer? Definitely. But just like a fresh trim makes you look sharp, a good contract keeps your career on point. We've all heard the horror stories. Artists signed away their souls for a bag of chips and a lukewarm soda. Don't be that artist. This ain't about sucking the joy out of music. It's about understanding the business behind the beats so you can keep creating and cashing those checks, baby. Think of it like this. A contract is a roadmap to your musical success. Ignore the signs and you might end up lost in a world of legal drama. Nobody got time for that. Record deal dreams versus reality. Are you Drake or just a daydreamer? Let's be real, fam. We all dream of signing that big record deal, rolling in royalties, and having our faces plastered on billboards. But hold your horses, Lil Nas X. The music industry ain't all sunshine and platinum plaques. First things first, let's talk about the different types of deals out there.
You got your traditional record deals where a label throws money at you, hopefully not literally, to record, market, and distribute your music. Think major labels, big budgets, and maybe even a fancy private jet.
Then you got your indie labels, the cool kids on the block. They might not have the deep pockets of the majors, but they often give you more creative control. Think artistic freedom, a tighter-knit family vibe, and maybe a used tour van with character.
But hold up. Before you sign on the dotted line, remember this. A record deal is a business partnership. And like any good partnership, it's all about finding the right fit. Decoding the music biz jargon, it ain't Sanskrit but closed music contracts. They're like that one friend who loves to use big words they learned from a dictionary they found at a bus stop. Full of terms and clauses that sound like they were invented to confuse mere mortals. Fear not, music maestros. We're about to break down some of those head-scratching terms.
First up, royalties, the bread and butter of the music biz. It's the money you get every time someone streams your song or buys your album.
Then there's advances, the money the label gives you up front. But remember, it's not free money. You'll have to pay it back from your royalties.
And let's not forget about publishing rights. They control who can use your music in movies, TV shows, and video games.
The must-haves in your contract, like extra bass on a hype track. All right, let's get down to brass tacks, or should we say bass drops. When you're eyeballing a music contract, there are a few non-negotiables, things you absolutely gotta have, like extra bass on a hype track.
First and foremost, you need to own your masters. This means you have control over your music, like a boss. You get to decide how it's used, where it's distributed, and how much moolah you make from it.
Next up, make sure your royalty rate is on point. This is the percentage of earnings you get from your music sales and streams. Don't settle for peanuts, fam. Aim for a rate that reflects your talent and hard work.
And don't forget about creative control. This is your art, your baby. You should have a say in how your music is produced, marketed, and presented to the world.
Last but not least, make sure the contract outlines a clear payment schedule. You need to know when you're getting paid and how much you can expect. After all, a musician's gotta eat, right? # Section 5, royalty rates. Get your fair share, not just coffee stains. Let's talk about your hard-earned royalties. These are the payments you get for the use of your music. Think of it as your music working for you, even when you're catching some Z's.
Royalty rates vary based on contracts and your music's success. Fight for your fair share.
For digital streams, aim for at least 50%. You're the talent behind those catchy hooks.
For physical sales, aim for 15 to 20%. Sync licensing deals can offer even higher rates.
Remember, royalty rates are negotiable. Fight for what you deserve. # Section 6. Beware the sneaky clauses hiding like groupies backstage. Music contracts are like a maze, full of twists, turns, and hidden clauses that can trip you up if you're not careful. It's like trying to find your way out of a mosh pit after one too many energy drinks.
One of the sneakiest clauses to watch out for is the exclusivity clause. This bad boy basically says you can't work with any other labels or distributors while you're signed to this particular contract. It's like being in a musical monogamous relationship, but without the cuddles and Netflix binging.
Another clause to be wary of is the options clause. This gives the label the option to keep you locked in for multiple album cycles, even if your debut album flops harder than a rapper's attempt at a British accent.
And then there's the dreaded recoupable expenses clause. This basically means the label can deduct all sorts of expenses from your royalties, like recording costs, marketing, and maybe even that time they sent a private jet to pick up your favorite bottle of hot sauce.
Section 7. Negotiation 101. Channel your inner shark, but less bitey. All right, let's talk negotiation, baby. This is where you put on your game face and fight for what you deserve. Think of it as a friendly game of chess, where the winner gets the best deal. No throwing shade, just strategic moves and smooth talk.
The first rule of negotiation is simple. Know your worth. Don't be afraid to ask for what you think you deserve, whether it's a higher royalty rate, more creative control, or a better payment schedule. Remember, you're the talent.
Second, always be prepared to walk away. If the deal ain't feeling right, if your gut is telling you something's off, don't be afraid to walk away from the table. There are plenty of other fish in the sea, or in this case, labels and distributors who would be lucky to have you.
And here's a pro tip, be confident but not cocky. Confidence is key in any negotiation, but nobody likes to show off. Be respectful, be professional, and be firm in your demands. Hey, let's be real, fam. Navigating the music industry without a lawyer is like trying to perform a concert in a hurricane. Sure, you might get a few good notes out, but you're more likely to get blown away by the legal storm.
Lawyers are your music biz bodyguards. We protect your interests, make sure you're not getting screwed over, and translate all that legal jargon into plain English.
Think of them as your personal translators for the language of contracts. But, not all lawyers are created equal. You want someone who specializes in entertainment law, someone who knows the ins and outs of the music industry like the back of their hand.
Think of it like this. You wouldn't go to a podiatrist for a toothache, would you? Okay, maybe you would if you were really desperate, but you get the point.
Hiring a lawyer might seem like an unnecessary expense, but trust me, it's an investment in your career. They can save you from making costly mistakes, negotiate better deals, and keep your music career on track. Section 9. Independent hustle, owning your masters and your destiny. In the age of streaming services and social media, artists have more power than ever to build their own empires, without the need for a big, bad label.
It's like being your own boss, except you don't have to wear a suit and tie every day, unless you're into that sort of thing.
When you're independent, you call the shots. You own your masters, control your music, and keep a larger chunk of the profits. It's like having your cake and eating it too, but instead of cake, it's piles of sweet, sweet cash.
But here's the catch. Being independent takes hustle. You're responsible for everything from recording and producing your music to marketing and promoting it to the masses. It's like being a one-person army, fighting for your spot in the spotlight.
But don't let that scare you off. There are tons of resources available to help independent artists succeed, from online distribution platforms to social media marketing tools. Section 10. The future of music deals, more streaming, less screaming. The music industry is constantly evolving, like a Pokemon trying to stay one step ahead of its trainer. Gone are the days of physical album sales being the be-all and end-all of an artist's success.
Today, it's all about streams, baby. Streaming services like Spotify, Apple Music, and Tidal have become the dominant force in music consumption. They're like the cool kids table in the high school cafeteria, where everyone wants a seat.
For artists, this means adapting to a new reality. Instead of relying solely on album sales, they need to focus on building a loyal fan base who will stream their music on repeat.
So, what does the future hold for music deals? We're likely to see more deals that prioritize streaming revenue, with artists getting a larger share of the pie for every play.
We might also see a rise in 360 deals, where labels and management companies offer artists a wider range of services, from marketing and promotion to brand partnerships and touring support. Section 11. Stay woke, stay paid. Knowledge is power and money. We've covered a lot of ground, from the different types of music contracts to the importance of hiring a lawyer.
But here's the bottom line. Knowledge is power, especially in the cutthroat world of the music industry. The more you know about the business side of music, the better equipped you'll be to negotiate favorable deals, protect your rights, and avoid getting ripped off.
Don't be afraid to ask questions, read industry publications, and connect with other artists and industry professionals.
Remember, fam, staying informed is the key to staying in control of your music career. Knowledge is power, and power means getting paid what you're worth. Section 12. Now go make hits and read the fine print. So there you have it, folks. The lowdown on music contracts. without the legal mumbo-jumbo. We've covered everything from the basics of record deals to the importance of negotiating fair royalty rates. But the most important takeaway is this: don't be afraid to stand up for yourself and your music. The music industry can be a tough business, but with the right knowledge and a healthy dose of street smarts, you can navigate it like a pro. Now go out there, make some hits, and remember to read the fine print.